What's up, y'all? Nose for Silver here, and today we are talking about what is the best size of coin or bar for silver stacking. So let's get into it. Now, let me give a disclaimer up front here. I'm not recommending any of these specific coins or bars. A lot of these are premiums, and that's just what I had closely on hand. So we got Libertads down here and some Scottdale Mint over here. But I'm talking about the generic form of all of these sizes because that's what you're going to get closest to spot price. Size really does matter when you're building your silver collection. You obviously want to be able to store it easily, but secondly, you want to get the best value for the bar. So if you're buying something like a 1 ounce bar, especially if it's a novelty bar like this, you're going to be paying a high premium for it just because there's a lot of artwork that went into that. It had to be produced on a small scale, and the person who produced this wants to recoup their money. However, if you're getting a 100 ounce bar like over here, you can get a definite deal on that starting close to spot price almost with just a slight premium on them, and that's because there's not nearly as much process that goes into creating a 100 ounce bar. You're gonna have to be thinking about storage and portability. You might have to have multiple storage points if you have a large number of these. A kilo bar, that's a great place to start too if you want something bigger that doesn't have as high of premiums, but that does have a more easy storage component to it. So that's this right here. You know, it fits nicely in the hand. A lot of these kilo bars you can get in stackable format, so they have ridges on the inside and the upper, so they just stack neatly on top of each other and don't really wiggle around too much. And the last thing you're going to want to consider about the size to begin with is how liquid is it as far as getting your money back from that bar. It's going to be a lot easier to get your money back from this section of bars and coins over here, at least in a quick transaction. If you're looking to sell kilos, 100, or a kilo up here, you might have a harder time finding a buyer or finding a coin shop that's going to give you the proper value for these large bars or these large kilo coins. The sellers that come into a shop every day aren't necessarily looking for those large of items. Still, a kilo bar is, in my opinion, a good choice, but a kilo coin, on the other hand, that's a little more of a novel thing and could be harder to liquidate. So first and foremost, I think we got to start with this ounce coin. By far, hands down, the 1 ouncer, you can get it in so many different forms, and it is, in my opinion, the best coin to start with after you've collected a little bit of junk silver. This is obviously, a higher end one made by the Mexico Mint, but you can get ones like a Buffalo that's just a generic mintage, many other generic ones. And today when I was looking, the prices were way down today on silver. And honestly, you could get these things for so close to spot. I saw them selling in the high 32s and low 33s. And that's just a steal for right now where silver has been. So the 1 ouncer, in my opinion, right here, is going to be the easiest to collect. You're going to be able to save the most amount of money, and you're going to be able to liquidate it just as easy. So the 1 ouncer here is just the bar, It's pretty much the same with these. You're not going to be able to liquidate the bar as easily as a coin just because there's not as high of a demand from bars, but you should still be able to liquidate it easily. I mean, this one is going to come with a premium because of the novelty and rarity of it. But just a standard bar, say from JM Bullion or Kitco or APMEX, those bars you're gonna probably be able to sell them right at spot or maybe $1 under spot. I would opt for getting a 1 ounce coin rather than a 1 ounce bar. The bars are also a little harder to stack, even though they might seem easier. They just roll all over each other, and they don't have as much of a center of gravity as these 1 ounce coins do. So I like these for stacking a lot more. I'm ashamed to say that I don't have a 5 ounce bar, but let's not get there yet. Let's talk about some fractional coins. This is 1/20th, this is 1/10th, this is 1/4, this is 1/2, and then we're up to the 1 ouncer. The problem with these fractional pieces, I stay far, far away from them when collecting actual just, regular bullion coins, because they come at a lot more of a premium price because it costs more to make these, and people have got to recoup their money because the designs are way more intricate on them, but you're only getting 1/20th right here. The reason that I have all these is that they're part of a proof set, which I collected, but really 1/2 is the lowest I would recommend going. Even if you're buying gold, a 1/2 coin would be the lowest that I would ever consider going, just because once you get lower than that, the premiums you have to pay are way too high. A 2 ounce coin is something that's a little more rare. I would say local coin dealers do like to get these in because, a lot of people are still in the market for a 2 ounce coin because they don't cost that much money. And they're a little more unique. Investing in something that's 2 ounce, have it being more of a standard bullion size coin with not of a premium would be a good idea in my opinion. Now, remember, I always got to say this, I'm not a financial advisor. This is just my collection, and I'm sharing with you my experience. This right here is a 5 ounce coin. So these are starting to get back in that unique realm. Not the best for stacking by any means, but if you want to collect something unique, this could be it. You could still probably sell it at spot or above spot at your local coin shop. There's just not as much demand for a 5 ounce coin because it starts getting much more expensive when you get up into that number. And then you got the kilo coin. This is an amazing coin. I love the size of it. I love the weight of it. I love how it looks. But the biggest issue is finding a buyer if it's ever time to liquidate. It does carry a premium. They are sought after. The mintages are extremely low with these. I think only 200 of these were made. But with that, you still got to find someone who is going to pay a premium. So it's not going to be easiest to liquidate. Might be fun to have in your collection. I don't think you're going to find any generic kilo rounds out there, or at least it won't be very easy to do. This thing doesn't want to stay in place. There we go. So I wouldn't recommend the kilo for stacking. That's something later on if you just get into having fun collecting. Like I said earlier, I don't have a 5 ounce bar. It's not a bar that I come across regularly, and it's not necessarily one that I would consider stacking myself, just because the most common denominators for bars for me are the 1 ounce, the 10 ounce, the kilo, and the 100 ounce. These are 3 different examples of what a 10 ounce bar can look like. I mean, they look completely different. Here you have what they call a chunky. That's a premium bar, so you're going to pay a little extra for this because it comes from the Scottsdale Mint, but it does have some great looking features to it. This is like what I was calling a stackable bar. You can see where it has ridges right there on the outside, and the inside is indented there, so they stack very nicely on each other. This is a vintage 10 ounce bar, highly collectible among some people, and I find it fun to collect the vintage 10 ounce bars as well, but I wouldn't recommend building your collection around that by any means. None of these should be in your beginner collection, in my opinion, out of the gate. Just generic 10 ounce bars. They make them that look like the Buffalo coin, but they're in bar form. and that's where you're going to get the most silver for your money. Kilo as well. This is probably a slight premium on this kilo bar, but you can get, again, generic ones or secondary market ones for very close to market price or spot price, just a little premium on these. And honestly, if you want to start stacking much heavier silver, this is the way I'd go. You would find me very hard pressed these days to buy another 100-ounce bar. Not because I don't like them, but simply because it's very hard to know how to liquidate them, and it's very hard to store them securely. I mean, you got to have a nice safe, and with that, if you have multiple of these, I mean, they're going to start taking up room quickly. So the 100 ounces, as awesome as they feel to hold and to have, and maybe you want to get one and that's cool, but I would not build a collection around a 100-ounce bar if you're a silver stacker. And then here's a little interesting option right here. This is what they called silver shot or silver grain. You can buy it in really any denomination that you'd like, but what they use this for is to melt down and create bars. And some people just like to buy, say, 50 ounces of it and just to have it, because you can buy those from the well-known dealers, APMEX, JD Bullion, Bullion Standard, all those places, they sell it. And the good thing is that they seal them up so they know that, no one's gotten into them. And because that's one of the hardest things about the shot is that you can't really test it. It's very hard to test that this is pure silver. But if you look right here, this is shot silver from the Scottsdale Mint, and it has a serial code on it. And it comes in this nice little package. So it has a bunch of security features tied into it. And if you are wanting to collect silver shot or silver grain, then, make sure you do it in a way that's from an official dealer and it's sealed up. I'm not 100% against stacking with that, but I don't think most stackers would lean towards the grain situation unless you really want to create your own silver bars or create your own silver rounds. So to sum up the entire video, I say 1-ounce rounds and 10-ounce bars are the absolute best way for me to go. I understand that a 10-ounce bar can cost a lot of money, and so sometimes it's hard to put that money out there. That's why a 1-ounce round might be better, but I would highly suggest a 1-ounce round over a 1-ounce bar, only because rounds seem to liquidate better, and bars don't have that great center of gravity that make it easy for actual stacking, and that's just like the physics of it. I tend to, when I stack these up, I have probably, I could 50 of them, say, and they'll end up just sliding off of each other, and that's very annoying because the coins really never give me that issue. Let me know what size you like stacking the best, and I'm no financial advisor. I don't know anything other than what I've experienced, and I'd always recommend getting that 1-ounce round to start your collection of a generic piece of bullion. So let me know what you think. Like the video, comment on it please in the section below. I'm a new channel here, guys. I need your help to get on up there in the algorithm. If you like this video, comment, like, thumbs down, whatever. I appreciate it all. Thanks for sticking around. We'll see you next time.